It's now time for our children to bring in the light. Who ring the bell? I don't know why it didn't do it. It's now time for children to bring in the light.
Community is much more than belonging to something. It's about doing something together that makes belonging matter. Okay, now. Perfect. Thank you, Roshan, for your help lighting our chalice. Good morning. Today's story is called We Care, a first conversation about justice. It was written by Megan Madison and Jessica Raleigh and illustrated by Sherry Miller. My community is made up of humans, plants, and animals. I feel close to the people and pets who love me and keep me safe. I know my neighbors and the kids and grown-ups at my school. I recognize the folks who take care of my neighborhood and people I see when I go places like the library or the barber shop. We are all connected. In a community, we all have different things that we are able to do really well. Things we're learning how to do, and things that we can't do on our own. That's why it's important that we work together. What each person does matters to the whole community. Communities are always changing, like when new neighbors move in, or a store closes, or a playground is rebuilt. And when communities are cared for, they stay healthy. We can care for our community by listening to what everybody needs and wants. Then we help one another. Another way we keep our communities healthy is by making sure that everyone feels safe to be themselves and safe in their bodies. Every kid needs people who help to keep you safe. You need a group of people who love and care for you forever, no matter what. You also need extra grown-ups you can go to when you feel scared, angry, confused, or embarrassed. These are the people in your community who can help you when you get hurt or when you hurt someone else. In a healthy community, we are responsible for one another, which means that if someone in our community has a problem, everyone can help find a solution. Maybe you've noticed that you don't always get what you want. That can feel frustrating. Maybe you've noticed that not everybody has what they need. That's not fair and can make us feel sad or mad. Sometimes our feelings are so big that we want to hurt each other. It's okay to feel that way, but it's never okay to hurt someone on purpose. That becomes a problem that needs a solution. To find a solution, everyone needs to talk about what happened. We can be brave and tell each other how we feel and what we need. We can listen to people who are hurt and believe them. We can come up with ideas together. Everybody makes mistakes. Mistakes are a part of living, loving, and growing. It's okay to feel bad when you make a mistake, but it doesn't mean that you are bad. In real life, there's no such thing as bad guys. In real life, every person is good, even when they make mistakes. And we can learn how to not make the same mistake again. No person and no community is perfect. Sometimes our communities are unhealthy. In unhealthy communities, the same problems keep happening over and over again. Usually, it's because something bad happened and we haven't solved it yet. Different people have different ideas about how to help communities heal or get better. Some ideas are about punishing people, but that can make the problem worse. Transformative justice are big words that mean people working together to solve problems and help make a community healthy again. It can take a long time, but there is always a solution. When a problem is solved, things don't always go back to the way they were before, but that can be better. Sometimes conversations have to happen over and over for things to get better. Justice and healing usually take a lot of time and tries. That's why we need everyone's ideas, including yours, about how to make things right. Justice is hard work, so it's okay to feel tired and to take a break. And it's good to celebrate every little step. Every day, we can try again together. The end. Please remain seated with hands over your heart as we sing Building Bridges, number 1023 in the teal hymnal, to send our beloved children back to their families and out to class.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
I'm Chris Johnson, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a 40-something bald guy wearing glasses and a yellow Side with Love shirt, and I'm also a member of our bread team. Pathway Clubhouse, our Share the Plate partner for March is Pathway Clubhouse, a community-based program of psychosocial rehabilitation for people with mental illness. The Clubhouse model empowers people living with mental illness, opportunities for social interaction, developing relationships, employment, education, building community are integral to the holistic approach of the Clubhouse model. Through BREAD, First UU fought for the funding to help Pathway Clubhouse become a fully accredited program, and we're happy to have built on that relationship over the years. Welcome to Connie Ione from Pathway Clubhouse to tell us more.
So we call ourselves colleagues, the staff and the members, and the other colleague couldn't make it this morning. But what we do at Pathway Clubhouse is we do follow the Clubhouse model. And Brett, as Chris said, was instrumental in helping us establish ourselves as a clubhouse. The special thing about a clubhouse is you could go to Australia and walk into a clubhouse and they have the exact same format, standards, and everything that we have, which encompasses a work order day. So the theory is that when you're invested in making something run, you get more out of it. So if at the Unitarian Church you're having a potluck or whatever, and you're instrumental in running that potluck and bringing food for it and cleaning up afterwards, you have some investment in it. And that is very therapeutic. It helps all of us to work together to make things happen. So from basically 9 to 4, we have tasks that we're doing all day long to make the clubhouse run. We run a boutique. We have a commercial kitchen and we prepare lunch. We have a coffee shop and we have coffee and snacks. We have things going on all day to make the clubhouse run. And then we do have some more stereotypically therapeutic things after 4 o'clock, such as we have art club and we have field trips. We even go out of state, like to Chicago. We went to St. Louis to the fish aquarium. We do all kinds of things that are extremely fun and therapeutic. So we really appreciate being a clubhouse. If we hadn't transitioned into a clubhouse, because we once were day treatment, but if we hadn't transitioned into clubhouse, we probably wouldn't exist. So for that fact, we're very grateful to be a clubhouse, but also clubhouse has a lot more meaning than other modes of therapy. So we are a vocational program and we assist people in getting employment. That's like our main emphasis. So the work order day is just as important as getting competitive employment, but we do have that component where we do assist people to get supported employment, transitional employment, and competitive employment. So if you want to participate, or if you know anybody that wants to participate, the Unitarian Church has all of our information, and please feel free. Every Monday, you can just walk into 1203 East Broad Street. We'll drop everything, give you a tour, sign you up, give you a free lunch. We're very welcoming, so thank you very much. And here's our information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Connie. Connie will be in Beach Hall after service if you'd like to talk to her more. So in addition to passing the basket, you can text to give, scan the QR code, or visit firstuucolumbus.org/donate. Thank you so much for your generosity.
Good morning. I'm Paisha Thomas. I am your Justice and Equity Student Minister. And I have a few more months left, and my time's coming to an end, but I'm so glad to be here today. I'm a short Black woman in her 50s. I'm wearing red, black, and green because I'm not finished with Black History Month, and glasses to match. Today's pastoral listener is Pat Snyder. If you have something on your mind or heart, today she will be in Beach Hall after the service, and we'll be happy to listen. We have some joys and sorrows from our community to share with you this morning, and there are 2 caring cards to sign in Beach Hall after worship. We send healing thoughts to Susan O'Donnell and Becca Morse, our office manager. Becca was unexpectedly admitted to the ER on Tuesday night for gallstone pain and had emergency gallbladder removal surgery on Wednesday. Everything went well, and Becca is resting and recovering at home with the support of family. Becca is thankful for all the love, patience, and support that our congregation has offered while she heals up and other staff cover for her duties. This past Tuesday, Susan slipped and fell on the ice and broke her femur. She had surgery on Wednesday at Mount Carmel East to repair the break and is currently in the ICU. No visitors are allowed, but she welcomes your supportive thoughts. When she is discharged, she will be in rehab for some period of time. Please join me in a spirit of meditation. The Pastoral Meditation today comes from the Lord's Prayer Revised by Daniel Chesney Cantor. Creator and creation, we are here, and we know paradise is beyond our reach, yet at our fingertips. Here, the sacred is revealed, and we hope for peace and restoration of the soul. We acknowledge we are not in charge and relinquish control. Let the realm of humanity be transcended by all that is holy. We know we are not powerless, but also not all powerful, for we walk in eternal time. Amen. Now I'll ring our temple bell, and we will have a moment of silence together.
One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. When we pool our strength and share the work and responsibility, we can welcome many people, even those in deep distress, and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. Please remain seated to sing We Would Be One, 318 in the gray hymnal.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which bends our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Like everyone else, I've been inspired by the people of Minnesota. When ICE came for their neighbors, Minnesotans stepped up. Thousands of people have been involved in the resistance in one way or another, tracking ICE, documenting arrests, delivering food, protesting, and more. The whole community came together to say this is wrong. And I know in Columbus, similar actions are happening, being done by many, many people, including many in this room. But what does any of this have to do with bread? As you may know, bread's process for doing justice is proactive rather than reacting to the latest crisis. We hear about a community problem in the fall listening process. We research it, talk with experts, look for best practices in other cities, and then at last ask local decision makers to commit to our proposed solution. This is important work, but it can feel unsatisfying when the country is on fire. Sure, we'd love a tree protection ordinance or a rental registry, but the federal government is abducting people. Our elections are under threat, and now we're at war. So how can we work on these everyday problems of our community through groups like Bread while we're in the midst of a crisis? Well, I look back to Minnesota. When we look at their remarkable resistance, we see much of it was grounded in the strong existing community. Neighbors who knew and cared about each other, churches, organizations, businesses with deep ties to the community. Carpool groups became ICE watch networks. Bookstores organized food delivery. Everyone looked out for each other. When the social fabric is strong, we can weather a crisis more easily. This is true for natural disasters. It's also true for fascism. Authoritarians want their people to be isolated and afraid. When we're in community, we can resist. With that in mind, Bread's role is clear. Bread's work builds and strengthens community. Our campaigns push for solutions that bring people in from the margins, strengthen neighborhoods, and help people thrive. Bread's process of highly relational interfaith work builds connections between people who might otherwise not ever cross paths. Bread works to weave together the social fabric of Central Ohio, better preparing us to face whatever comes our way. Consider our mental health campaign. In the 2013 listening process, we heard powerful stories about how mental illness affected every one of our Bread congregations and how many of those suffering were receiving inadequate care. The research committee learned that crisis care facilities were overwhelmed by the need. We could have asked for more beds for emergency care, but many of the stories fit a particular pattern. A person would be in crisis, they'd end up at a hospital or net care, they'd get some treatment and yet have their condition stabilized and be released. They'd be okay for a time, and they get back into trouble and end up back in crisis care. So our research committee decided to look at increasing community mental health care to reduce the need for crisis care. We said we wanted care, not crisis. Bread's really into call and response. The committee found two evidence-based solutions: assertive community treatment teams, multidisciplinary teams that provide individualized support in a community setting rather than a hospital setting, and the clubhouse model, which you've heard about from our Share the Plate guest. The committee traveled to Magnolia Clubhouse up in Cleveland and learned how successful a fully funded and accredited clubhouse program is at keeping people out of crisis care. A year of participating in a clubhouse costs less than 2 nights in a hospital. The clubhouse model works in part because it combats the isolation that can make mental illness work. Stronger community helps people weather difficult times, essentially today's theme in microcosm. So we settled on our ask. We wanted the local alcohol, drug, and mental health board, ADAMH, to double its number of ACT teams and to establish a fully funded, fully accredited clubhouse program. Campaign was harder than we might have expected. The ADAMH CEO was not enthusiastic about the clubhouse proposal, and he was worried about the passage of an upcoming levy. The Nehemiah action in the first year of the campaign was very tense, as those of you who were there may remember. The CEO sounded quite reasonable on stage, and a lot of the audience began clapping for him. However, our research committee knew from its research and previous meetings with the ADAMH board that what we were asking for was perfectly reasonable and within his power to agree to. These negotiations can be uncomfortable, but trust our folks up on stage. We didn't give up. We sought allies by holding a mental health summit. We continued to meet with ADAMH, and in the next year's Nehemiah Action, we won. ADAMH committed to establishing more ACT teams and to providing the funds to upgrade Pathway Clubhouse to a fully accredited program. I was thrilled to celebrate with Pathway at their grand reopening in 2016 and the accreditation party in 2018. Today, Pathway is thriving, even helped to other clubhouses, mentor other new clubhouses. Our Central Ohio community is stronger and more inclusive than it was before.
Since 2020, Bread Network members have negotiated with public officials to implement a violence reduction program in Columbus neighborhoods. At the annual Nehemiah Action in 2021, Bread successfully pressed Columbus City Council to invest $430,000 to contract with the National Network for Safe Communities to implement a group violence intervention strategy that became known as the Columbus Violence Reduction Program, CVR. CVR is focused on addressing violence in troubled neighborhoods by targeting the small number of people in groups or gangs that drove most of the violence. It aims to keep residents safe, alive, and free by providing support for those at risk of violent crime and offering access to essential services. It's a proactive program aimed at adults who have been involved in or perpetuating group and gang gun violence and other violence throughout the city. A group violence intervention strategy works through call-in sessions. A call-in is a face-to-face meeting between law enforcement, community figures, people who have been affected by violent crime, social service providers, and violent group members. The object is to inform those individuals what will happen if they don't change their ways and also help them understand the effect of their actions. The program helps those who agree to stop their violence with tools, jobs, and resources to keep them out of prison and alive. The goal is to meet both their immediate and long-term needs. The first call-in session was in June of 2023. Since then, out of more than 200 people referred to the program, only 8 have been involved in homicide, either as a perpetrator or a victim. CVR is, in effect, a restorative program. People who have made mistakes are invited back into the community and offered the assistance they need to do so. By focusing on violence prevention rather than just punishment, Columbus neighborhoods are safer. Last year, Columbus had 84 homicides, down from 205 in 2021. The city's new focus on prevention is a large part of that story. Bread's campaign around gun violence and police reform had other wins as well. We pushed the Columbus Police to implement active bystander for law enforcement, ABLE, training, a police training program in intervention techniques to use when a fellow officer has made a mistake, and Bread's work with the Columbus Safety Collective on a non-police crisis response program for mental health crisis. Wellness checks and the like led to the Community Crisis Response Amendment, which will be on the ballot for Columbus residents in May. A healthy
community starts with livable neighborhoods, and that leads us to Bread's ongoing campaign to protect our tree canopy. During Bread's research process in 2021, we heard stories from our congregations about people suffering serious health effects from mold, flooding, excessive heat, and polluted air. Our research told us that a dense tree canopy can significantly mitigate all of these problems. Trees provide cooling shade, absorb air pollution, and pull water from the ground by evaporating it through their leaves. We also learned that comparable Midwest cities, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Louisville, for example, have tree canopies of about 40%, but Columbus has a paltry canopy of only 22%. In 2021, Columbus City Council then approved and committed to an urban forestry master plan that set out strategies to bring our tree canopy up to 40% by 2050. It prioritized passing tree protection codes for both public and private property. But nothing happened. Finally, in 2024, after 2 Nehemiah actions, Bread celebrated the passage of an ordinance to protect trees on public property. However, 70% of our tree canopy is on private property. So Bread has continued to fight for private property tree regulations for newly developed property. At Bread's behest, the city hired a consultant to make recommendations for a private property tree code. That report was published in March 2025, but then progress stalled. So Bread met in May with Nancy Day Ackauer, chair of the City Council committee responsible. Her response was, quote, "The developers have been pushing back," unquote. So she would not commit to moving this initiative forward. This is not acceptable. The city of Columbus needs more tree canopy, especially in the densely populated, low-income areas where the tree canopy is sometimes less than 10%. There, the temperatures in the summer can be up to 13 degrees hotter than in lower density areas with a good tree canopy. Imagine what a difference that makes if you have diabetes or heart disease and need to walk to the store or the bus stop on a hot summer day. Trees can also significantly decrease asthma because they remove pollutants from the air. This is critical because the prevalence of asthma is so high. 19% of children living in poverty in Franklin County have an asthma diagnosis. Bread considers the lack of an adequate tree canopy a critical health and community issue. So the Bread Tree Issue Committee is working on developing alliances with health organizations, Green Columbus, and other concerned groups. But more than anything, we need everyone to show up at the Bread Nehemiah Action at the Celeste Center on Tuesday, May 12.
So the solutions that Bread pushes for build community, and we could go on with many more examples and keep you here through lunch. In addition, Bread's process and organization do as well. As we read in Children's Story, we all have concerns about our larger community. In 1994, several area congregations, including ours, began to search for a plan to remediate the root causes of poverty, violence, and economic decline in Central Ohio. We realized that no one person or one congregation could make much of a difference, but by working together, we could have a real impact. So these 11 diverse congregations became 16 at Bread's first covenanting assembly in 1996, where we chose the name Building Responsibility, Equality, and Dignity, or Bread. So how does Bread work? How do we build the power to do justice? It begins with listening, followed by research, action, and celebration. First step is a listening process, which takes place in all Bread congregations in the early fall, to learn what problems are preying on the minds of people in the congregations. The greater attendance at these listening sessions, the more people power we can build to help solve the problems. The problem we select at a vote at the annual assembly in November. Once we have a problem selected, a research committee is formed to find a winnable solution to address the problem and a local decision maker capable of implementing it. But identifying a solution is not enough. How do we actually win? Local officials listen to Bread because we're able to demonstrate our people power by turning out large numbers of people year after year, campaign after campaign. We do that at the Nehemiah Action meeting each spring. This year, we're aiming for 2,200 people. There, we ask the selected officials to make clear commitments to implement our solutions. Each Bread congregation aims to turn out its average weekly attendance to the Nehemiah Action. That means we need to get, first you need to get at least 200 people to the action. We do this through our Justice Ministry Network, fellow congregants who make direct personal invitations to attend the action. Each network member is responsible for getting at least 3 other people, including children, to the action. If you're interested in being a network member, you can learn more and get names of people to invite at our network meeting here at First UU on Saturday, March 14th at 11 a.m. Now, everyone, please put the Nehemiah Action on your calendar. Tuesday, May 12th, second Tuesday of May, Tuesday, May 12th, 6:40 p.m. at the Celeste Center at the Ohio State Fairgrounds. This year's Nehemiah Action will address Bread's ongoing campaigns for a private tree ordinance and a rental registry to protect renters from predatory landlords, as well as our new campaign, which will center around living wages. These are difficult problems, and we face powerful opposition. But when we come together with people from other congregations across Central Ohio, we can win. By connecting with one another, we can build the people power we need to make change and thereby make a stronger community. Bread, rises. Please rise in body and spirit to sing Step by Step, the Longest March, number 157 in the gray hymnal.
Step by step, the longest march can be won, can be won. Many stones can form an arch, singly none, singly none. And by union what we will can be accomplished still. Drops of water turn a mill, singly none, singly none.
New American by Huskar Medina. We all dream of a greater America. I want you to be paid a living wage, live in affordable housing, without college debt, or credit card debt, or national debt. I want no more racism. I am speaking of a new America. I am part of new America, whether you like it or not. So join me, please. And now let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of vision. As we go forth, let us heal and transform ourselves and our world through reason and love.